Hello, everybody. Today is Tuesday, February 10th, 2026, and we're in for a treat that I'm very grateful to all the speakers for the Kingston Tarot Lenormand Conference who are presenting out of this world presentations once a month for the next few months. So tonight we're going to hear from Lytle. Many of us know Lori. Lori's spoken at the conference previously. She's been at all of our conferences. We were lucky enough to have Lori here at the Purple Door a few years ago doing a marvelous workshop with her new deck. Hello, I guess, is it still new? All these, it's been around for a year or two or three. The Unifying Consciousness Tarot, and just lately, Lori has published her book, Talismans and Tarot. And I haven't seen the book, but I know from the class that we had at the conference, it's your thing, Talismans and Tarot. So I'm sure that book is full of all kinds of fascinating information. Lori's going to present tonight and tie in the card, the wheel of fortune to our birth cards and how to make it all work. So Lori, I'm going to turn it over to you. Thank you for doing this, and we are so glad you're here.
Oh, great. Well, thank you for putting this together, Marilyn, and thank you for so many wonderful conferences over the years. I'm so excited to be a part of this one again, and it's so nice to see all these lovely familiar faces here. So I'm going to just situate myself here so I can see clear what's going on, and I'm going to share my screen if that's okay, Marilyn.
Yep, that's absolutely fine.
Get going there.
I'll let you do that. Hello, Vicki.
There we go.
All right.
Okay. Every time I use Zoom so often, and every time is like the first time. So here we go. Okay. So if everybody's had a chance to arrive and situate yourselves, then I think I'm just going to dive right into our topic for tonight. So as Marilyn mentioned, I'm going to be talking about this idea that we're in a Wheel of Fortune year, that we're in a universal Wheel of Fortune year, but we're going to have some fun and see how our own personal year cards get along and play with that wheel, because that can be some really powerful information about how to make the most of the year ahead. Okay, there we go. So as I said, we're going to look at our tarot year cards, the universal year card, and how they play together. So I usually like to start my workshops with just taking a breath and letting everybody arrive. Thank you for being here on this anyway, a cold day, and it's such a busy time for everybody. So why don't we just take a breath? Make sure you're getting comfortable, have everything you need to be comfortable for our time together. And I just wanted to set an intention for our time tonight. And I invite you to think about your own intention, first of all, as well. Like, what brings you here tonight? What do you hope to achieve, or how do you hope to feel? And that's all good. It's your intention, right? Maybe it's just great to connect with some other tarot friends, or maybe there's some information you're hoping to get out of it. It's all good. But so just give yourself a moment to think, why am I here? And what do I hope to get out of this time? And the intention that I offer to all of you and all of us here tonight, or anyone watching this recording, is may we stay in a place of compassion and respect for ourselves and each other as we embark on this work. May we be present and enjoy this time together. And may we ride the ups and downs of 2026 with clarity, confidence, and wisdom. Okay. So just to get things started, or to set the tone for our time together, let's start with the basics. So looking at what is a personal year card. So I'm going to go into more detail later, but just to make sure, I imagine everybody here knows, and you probably know what your card is already, but just in case, I wanted to spell it out for you. So your tarot year card is based on your month and day of birth plus the current year. So you do a little bit of math and a little bit of simple math, and you get to a number that corresponds with a major arcana card. And that card changes from year to year, of course, unlike your soul card, which is, or your birth card, that's with you all the time. So this is one that changes from year to year. And what's really interesting about your year card is how it can inform you about the atmosphere of the year ahead. So this is getting ahead of myself and into a little bit of what I'll be talking about at the conference. But I don't think that your year card is how can I say, taking away your free will, or that this is your fate for the year ahead. This is going to control you. It's much more interesting and powerful than that. It gives you an idea of the atmosphere of the year ahead. So the energy that you're working with, opportunities, themes, and most of all, learning experiences. So it might give you an idea of what you're going to learn from this year ahead, however that is experienced in your own personal year. And also your year card can offer you guidance. So how best to utilize and navigate the energy around you. So it's a really wonderful way to tap into that magic and that energy and those resources that are all around you. And then I also talked about a universal year card. So very similar, but this one is the atmosphere of the year ahead, the challenges, opportunities, resources, external forces, everything that impacts us collectively, everyone here on this planet. So it's kind of like the energy that we're all breathing in, we're all swimming in, and impacts us in different ways, but impacts us collectively. So knowing what you're working with and how it will impact you personally, as well as our planetary community that we're all a part of, is really powerful. And as I said before, this idea of fate and free will comes in here too. I don't think this is completely predicting how you're going to experience this here, but it gives you an idea of what you've got to work with and how you might best be able to navigate it. Okay. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah. Are you feeling that wheel already, or? Yeah, we'll talk about that more, but whoa. I think from January 1st, if not before, I was already feeling that wheel, the ups and the downs of it, right? Oh, and I should say too, I'll take a look, in the chat there. Hi, everybody. Won't get distracted there, but feel free to put any questions in the chat or to unmute and offer any questions or comments anytime that you like. Okay, so first of all, before we go into the slightly frightening but simple math that we need to do, I'd just like to tell you a little story about myself and why this topic is so interesting and powerful to me. So how it has impacted me, or yeah, the impact that it has had on me personally, the year card idea, right? So if we can cast our minds back to 2021. So when I look back at that year, I was in a chariot year and my partner was in a Wheel of Fortune year. So I know you're all tarot people there. What do you think about that combination? A chariot and a Wheel of Fortune walk into a bar together kind of thing, right? What the heck is going to happen, right? Any idea? And feel free just to pop a word in the chat if you want to comment, but what kind of energy are we looking at there?
Where are you moving to, Lori?
Thank you, Marilyn. Yes. Yeah, you're both psychic and wise, right? And you know me. So that chariot energy wants to move forward and not look back, right? And needs movement. And then the wheel also craves change and opportunities. So my husband and I had this energy together, and the year was 2021. There were some other factors there too. So what did we do with all that action, urgency, desire for change and movement? Well, we did something kind of crazy. We sold our home in Toronto and we moved out to Niagara wine country. Okay? So there we are when we just closed on the house, popped some champagne, and no idea of what the chariot and the wheel were in for in the next few months, the wild ride that we had. So the energy around us was something like that wheel is like, take a chance. The timing is right. Having the confidence and the nerve to make a big change, because we lived in Toronto most of our lives. I love Toronto and I'm very much a city person. Like even still now, I've been here almost, I can't believe it, 4.5 years maybe now, getting close to that. I'm still such a city person, but I love it here, right? But so it was that energy of the chariot and the wheel kind of moved us forward to making this decision, right? But there was another factor at play. I came to realize later that because 2021 was a Hierophant year. So we all know that energy of the Hierophant is being concerned with tradition and structures, maybe responsibilities and duties and roles, has connections with family and where we fit into family and society. So we moved out here in Niagara wine country to be close to family, right? Instead of running away to Thailand or Italy, which is always on my list of things to do and may still have, maybe I should calculate when my next action year is, which is not this one. So instead of just moving for the sake of moving and needing to use all that energy, we made the decision to be close to my mom and my sister who live out here too. So that, without me really being aware of it, that Hierophant energy was there. And also, this was during COVID, like really at the height of COVID. And I think we were looking for some kind of stability and connection, as well as that urgency for change and movement that we felt. Okay? So over the years, there's been many examples where I felt that the energy of my year card, this one was particularly strong. And as I say, looking back at it afterwards, I could really clearly see, okay, that I see what I did there and what some of the motivations, how they came out, right? And so in going forward a little bit too, looking at 2023 for me was, 2023 was a universal chariot year. And for me, it was I was a hermit. 2024 was a strength year and I was the wheel, right? So how this kind of played out was, well, let me show you. So I spent most of my time writing. So my tarot deck, it was going to mass market publisher, so that needed some work, that took that energy. And I wrote 2 books in that time, right? So I truly was a hermit. And I also had momentum and taking advantage of timing. Like that energy was behind me going, come on, hermit, we're going to move you forward, but in the way that that they can correspond and get along with each other rather than making each other nuts, right? And so as an other interesting little tidbit there, 2025 was a universal hermit year. And for me, it was justice. And in 2025, I finished writing my new book, Tarot for Introverts in the Hermit Year. So go figure on that one, right? I started writing this book in a strength year, and strength is a card that I associate with empaths, with the energy of an empath. So no matter what was going on with me, I had all this supportive energy telling me this is a right time to write this book. So that's the cover of my new book that's coming out, Marilyn, a couple of days before the conference. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that that I will have copies of it there for everybody. But keep a good thought. It's available for pre-order now, but I would sure love to show up at the conference with a big box of hot off the press books. Okay? So, okay. So I shared those stories with you just to give you an idea of how you can experience the power of these combinations and layers. And as I said before, that it's a way to tap into the magic and the energy that is all around you. Because I feel that's an important part of reading tarot, is that it gives you access to, or makes you more aware of, gives you access to energy that's around you that you might not be seeing or that you might be feeling, but you're not sure how to really use it to your advantage. So the tarot in general is very powerful for that. But I found, as I mentioned, over the past years, how powerful it can be to make use of your year card. Okay, so let's start by looking at our year cards and calculating them, right? So I imagine, as I said, imagine a lot of you already know and have looked at this already, what your tarot year card is. But if you haven't, here is how you do it. So this is my birthday, June 5th. So I've got June 6, there are 5, and plus 2026, right? So you just add those together in columns, so you get that 4-digit number. When you have that 4-digit number, you add those across to give you another number, right? So in my case, my birthday plus 2026 adds up to 12, which is the hangman. So spoiler alert, I'm a hanged man in a Wheel of Fortune year. So how do you think that's going to go? We'll talk about it. You, Shelley, you too? Yeah. Yeah, another hangman. So take a moment and I'm as an aside, I'm sure, as I mentioned, I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with this. But when you add your 4-digit number across, if you have a number 22 or lower, you keep that number. And then that corresponds with a major arcana card. If your number is 23 or higher, you need to reduce it. So for example, if your number's added up to 23, there's no 23, right, in the major arcana. So you would reduce that to 5, okay, and keep that number. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah. So take a moment and just make sure that you have, I'm just checking the comments here if anybody's, yeah. Yeah. Push and pull energy. Yeah. Oh, a devil year. Yeah. Hi, Tracy. Yeah. Devil year. Death year. Yeah. Well, let's see if there's any comment. I'm going to make a note of that. We've got the devil and death showing up. Does everybody feel confident? Oh, both year and a strength year, Shelley. Wow. You and Mark. Yeah. Okay. Justice. Yeah. We've got strength, justice. Oh, chariot. Okay. And a couple. Oh, yeah. A couple of hermits I see here. Another hangman. Yeah. Okay.
I have a quick question.
Yeah. Hi, Dodie.
Hi. In your example, both the day and the month is only one digit. So
Yeah.
let's just say you have two digits. You wouldn't reduce them right
Correct.
away. You would add them and then reduce them.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that, Dodie, because that's true. My birthday is just single digits, right? So if you had like say it was the 16th or something instead of the 6, yeah, you would have 16 there. And if it was December, you'd have 12, for example, right? Or what, you use the full number, don't reduce it. So yeah, thank you for that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I'm just seeing, yeah, and good point. Carolyn mentions your birthday's December 1st. So yeah, there's a lot of discussion in the tarot world about when your year card kicks in, right? Which is a big question and a good question. My my personal experience, but I'm born in June, right? So I'm smack in the middle of the year, conveniently, right? But if my experience is that my year card kicks in at the beginning of the year, but the energy intensifies towards my birthday. So at the beginning of the year, it might be more external things, events around me and things. And then as it approaches or my birthday and afterwards, it becomes much more internal and personal and sort of those lesson internalizing it, right? But if you're born at the end of the year, it may shift for you, right? So that's something I always recommend people pay attention to. Like now we're at the beginning of the year, see if you're feeling that energy yet, or if it takes a while for it to kind of kick in as you get closer to your birthday.
I
But
think I've noticed the energies,
yeah,
they like, there is kind of a fading from one to the other. Like
yeah,
temperance is on the way out and the lessons kind of end. And then mid-year, I move into more of the lover's experience because
yeah,
I think this is what I've observed.
yeah. Nice to see you, Carolyn.
Okay, I'm having not my brightest moment.
Okay, hi, Paula. What
So
you got?
10, is that judgment?
Well, like your birthday added up to 10?
Yep.
Like the four numbers at the bottom added up to 10?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's wheel. That's the wheel.
Will.
You got it.
Like I said, I'm not having my best brain moment.
Never mind, Paula, but
So it's the
listen,
wheel.
that's a
Okay.
lot of energy around. That's a lot of wheel energy around you. So never mind. That's okay to be thrown for a bit of a loop there.
Fun.
It fits, right? Right. Does everybody else feel comfortable with that they know what their card is? Yeah, great. Okay. So before we connect it with the wheel, we are going to get to know our year card a little bit first to situate ourselves here. Okay. My computer doing something weird. There we go. Okay. And I should have put this up before. Sorry, Sarah, or Paula, that would have been helpful there. So that you can correspond it, right? So if you're not sure, you want to check your card. There it is. Yeah. Sorry, Paula, that would have been helpful. Okay.
That's okay. We're all human.
For sure. That is for sure. All right. So I'm not going to go into too much detail here about each card because that's, you can take a look at the screen while I'm talking, or you can think about, we're going to go into it in a little more depth later, but just to give you an idea of what some of the key concepts or characteristics might be during these years. And as an aside too, like some of these earlier cards, like I think pretty much from the Fool through to the Empress, they're not likely to appear, or they can't mathematically appear, just from the way, in our era. But you can feel their influence through the other cards that are connected to them in their sort of constellations or in numerically, right? But so I think we had in this group here, I think we had somebody that was in a chariot year. I saw that come up. Yeah, Vicky, great. Oh, and Rebecca too. Yeah. So you've got that forward movement, that action of the wheels. You're feeling the wheels want to move, right? Good time to take action, focus on goals, but we'll get into all this together too. But just to give you an idea, I don't know if we had if we had lovers or Hierophant, or I don't think any of those came up. But let's see. And then in the next group. So I know we have a number of strengths in the room of strength card people. So that gives you courage to face challenges, understanding your instincts, knowing your strength. And I think often there's really wanting to enjoy life and doing what's close to your heart in the strength year often comes up. Right? And I think we had a hermit in there too. I love the hermit. I miss the hermit. Yeah, introspection, enjoying your own company, maybe completing things that need to be completed, finding your way forward. It's a nice year to reflect and make some plans before things get rolling fast, right? And we had at least one Wheel of Fortune in our group here. That's that, again, momentum, highs and lows, luck, sometimes having to surrender to circumstances a little bit and letting them unfold. We had a Justice member in the group too. Decisions, purpose, things coming into balance, being true to yourself. I mentioned I'm a hanged man. I think I had some fellow hanged ones in the room there. So that is also a time of often pause or reflection, finding new perspectives, surrendering, release. So don't want to get ahead of myself, but I don't mind the idea of the hanged man year. It feels kind of good to me this year to just be, right? I'm sure we had some deaths, people in the room too. Big transformation, endings, new beginnings, right? Shedding what you no longer need. Temperance, balance and flow, bringing things together after that death year, if it flows like that for you, finding solutions for things that maybe have eluded you previously. Okay. Oh yeah, we definitely had the devil. So that may be just having a devilish good time, indulging those material desires, or it can be freeing yourself from what binds you, right? Looking at your shadow side and freeing yourself from what might hold you back. So I wonder, I don't know if we had any tower, moon, but if yours is in there, have a look just to give you an idea of what the key concepts might be. But we're going to explore that in a personal way together. Okay. So I invite you to pull your year card out of your deck. And actually see how, depending on the deck that you chose, see how that card feels to you. Is it a very traditional one you're working with? It's something a little bit different. Just looking in the lots of good comments in the chat there. We'll talk later. So I invite you to just take a moment, and if you are so inspired or so inclined to make a few notes for yourself, or even just think about it for a few moments here. Most importantly, I think, is to think about what your first reaction to your year card was. Okay. Yeah, I laughed. Yeah. when I saw mine, right? So what's your first reaction to it? And then you can go a little bit deeper and think, do I have any personal associations or memories or stories about that card? Okay. Because we all have connections with, yeah, oh great. Yeah, I'm seeing in, I'm gonna talk in the comments here too. We all have personal associations, or we might remember when this card came up for us in a reading and what that meant. It might have been something really significant for you. Might be happy or challenging memories, right? But just ask yourself, okay, why am I having this reaction to the card? And does it spark anything for me? Right. And once you've thought about that, then get a little bit personal and think, how does that energy make sense for my year ahead? Right. Because you know the meaning of the card, you're familiar with it when you're reading for somebody else or doing a reading with it. But if this is representing your year, how can you, on a practical way, even maybe things that you're planning for the year or things you're anticipating, does this card make sense, right? And does it feel daunting, challenging, exciting, comforting, right? So I invite you to just write down a few words or phrases, the first thing that comes into your mind. And I'm just going to be quiet for like a minute and let you jot down anything that you want to remember. I'm just going to give you a few moments to jot down any last things that you want to remember, and then I'll reach you back. So, would anyone like to share any of their reactions to their card, either in the chat or if you want to unmute and share it with the group? No pressure, but if you feel like you want to share it, let me know. And I see in the chat there, Malamir, you relocated from Toronto when your year card was a chariot and your spouse's was the tower. So that's great. We got a similar story going on there. Hi, Tracy, go ahead.
Yeah, so my year card this year is the devil.
Yes.
And my immediate reaction is like, oh, really? You know, it wasn't excitement. It was immediate thoughts that come to mind, negative,
Yeah.
um, uh, just, you know, and just negativity itself is not just the word, but just
Yeah.
the action of being negative and living in sort of that mindset, which is a place I've been for a while now.
Yeah.
Um, and so it really did make a lot of sense when I saw the card. Didn't matter that I didn't like it, it made
Yeah.
sense. Um, and certainly, the most challenging part of it is to, the year, without getting too far ahead,
Yeah.
certainly knowing that change is here. The wheel is
Yeah.
turning and change is here, but not knowing where to start, what to do about it, just knowing that I think seeing the devil for me identified what's changing.
Okay. I love
So
that.
so
Okay.
yeah, so this negative mindset that I've been swimming in is changing. It has to change. That's where, but it's where do you start, right? And I think for me, it's looking at the chains that bind, and recognizing them for what they are. So what is this negative sort of cycle that I've got myself caught up in? And by recognizing that, I now have an opportunity to try something different. So that's it for me.
That's good. Thanks, Tracy. And well said, because I wish I wrote down what you said because you said it well. But it's like it doesn't mean, you're not necessarily happy to see it, but it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And that's powerful. And yeah, thanks, Tracy. And Diane, I see you got your hand up there.
Yeah, I wrote in the comments that I have always hated the devil card
Yeah.
because I was raised Catholic in the 60s. I have nightmares
Ah,
about the devil because of what the nuns told us and stuff like that. But I don't believe those things anymore.
yeah.
And when you said that freeing yourself from what binds you and indulging in material desires, it's interesting because, like Tracy said, I've been thinking somewhat along those lines as well, been doing some self work and discovering things about where I've been in my life and how I haven't really served the child inside.
Yeah.
And this is really an opportunity to do that, I think.
Beautiful. Love it. And yeah, and I think we'll talk about it later too, but that combination with the wheel, I think is helpful,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like just as Tracy was describing, like to move that energy forward in a
Right.
productive way, right? Not because the devil may, anyway, I don't want to get ahead of myself either, but the devil likes to keep you stuck, right? But that wheel is coming in going, no, 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 we're gonna get that moving. We're gonna get that change going. Love it. Thanks, Diane. Okay, so why don't we, I want to go ahead that far, Asatero. Okay, so we're going to give our cards a good shuffle, keeping our year card in mind, right? And so I'd love it if we could do this little 3-card spread together. It's like you're having a chat with your card, right? Because I already feel like what you already described, everybody, you're already hearing your cards loud and clear, which is so amazing to hear, to see. But why don't we let the cards give us an idea of first
So
card is what yeah.
we're keeping out our year card and the wheel card, or should we leave
I
the wheel
think you should
in
leave them
there?
in the deck, Carolyn.
Okay, leave them in the deck.
What do you think? I think we should leave them in because maybe they want to show up. But good question. Thank you. Yep. Play with a full deck, as I like to say. Got a million of them today. So give your cards a good shuffle and you're asking your year card. Card number 1 is, what does my year card offer me? So keep an open mind. This to me can be something really positive, can be a gift, it could be a blessing, could be a challenge, right? Keep an open mind about it. And then same thing, what does my year card ask of me? So this might be a challenge, this might be a lesson that can be learned, this might be an action that you need to take. You may recognize something practical in it. And then the last card is, what does my year card want me to know about myself as I navigate the year ahead? So I feel like this card, number 3, often shows resources you're not aware of, right? Your gifts, your talents, your strengths that you're maybe not seeing. Or it could be showing things that, hey, be aware of how you're limiting yourself or how you're doubting yourself. But so keep an open mind when you pull those cards. So go ahead and lay out all 3 so that you can have a look at them together. And I'm going to go with an example with mine here too. Okay. And always keep in mind, we're taking this back to our year card, right? So when you pull those three cards, you want to think about how do they fit with your year card. So I'm going to give you the highly abridged version here of mine, and then let's talk about it together, right? Because so for me, I got, what does my year card offer me? And my year card's the Hangman, just to remember. So I got the Queen of Wands. I'm like, yay, I love the Queen of Wands. I love her creative energy and that fire and that spark. So somehow the Hangman is still offering me, I felt creative inspiration here, right? Then the next card, what does my year card ask of me? I got the Nine of Cups. Yay, also another nice card. But keep in mind that this is something that the year card is asking of me, right? So the Hangman, to me, I felt like the Hangman is asking me to be content, right? First two cards that we see there, they're both seated, right? They're not doing much. As much as I love the Queen of Wands, she's sitting there looking, but she's not doing anything at the moment, except the creativity that's percolating inside. Nine of Cups asks me to be content and just be, oh, that's really hard, right? And be present and where I am and be happy with it, right? Number three, what does my year card want me to know about myself? The Hangman wants me to know the Four of Swords. So I think the Hangman wants me to know this is a year of percolating, not doing so much. And I need rest, I need sleep, I need to dream, I need to go within and be still, be present, right? So as I mentioned before, there's not a lot of movement in these cards, right? So connecting to the Hangman, it makes sense to me. They're not uncomfortable, they're not painful or challenging in that way, but there's a lot of being very still and observing, reflecting, percolating, right? Okay. So I'm going to give you a moment to look at your cards. And as I say, keep in mind the spread positions and also relate it back to your year card and see it through that lens. And then let's talk about it together. I always recommend that, when you lay those three cards out, take a quick look first, let yourself have that intuitive blast when you see all three there, and go through them one by one, relating them to your year card, to the position in the spread. And then pull back one more time and have a look at all three together again and see if you notice any patterns, any symbols that jump out at you. If you can see a story when you see all three of them together there. Yeah, and take the time you need, but if anybody is ready to talk about their cards, or if they want to ask, if you're puzzled and you want to ask a question of me or the group, then feel free to raise your hand or unmute and let us know.
I have a quick question.
Sure, hi.
For number two, what does my Wheel of Fortune card ask of me? I got the Nine of Swords.
Okay.
So so input because here is, I'm using my laptop, so I'm trying to do my screen with my finger and it's not working out.
No worries.
I don't know if you can see it. I apologize for crappy lighting. Um,
Okay, so Paula,
yeah,
you're in a wheel year.
yep, wheel year.
This is what the second card, right? What your card asks of you,
Yes,
and it's
because
not Nine of Swords. Sorry.
yes, and I guess I should say I got the Ace of Pentacles and the Hangman as well.
Okay.
So, but it was sort of the Nine of Swords that kind of, I'm like, hmm.
Mm,
So,
okay. Okay. So let me see here. So if you weren't worrying about the wheel aspect
mhm.
there, Paula, what would you think if that Nine of Swords is showing up for you there?
Um, I guess the first thing that I'm hearing is blind faith.
Wow.
And it's the second, yeah. So, because normally I would jump, say, oh, put fences up or this or boundaries or this, but it just sort of because in the image, her face, she's covering her hands with her face, or yeah, and but it's just sort of that, yeah, like maybe look through the difficult times because in between the nine swords there is space, but it's just blind faith.
Wow, Paula, that's
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know. Oh, I'm scratching my head. I don't know.
But that's beautiful because I think if you look at your year card being the wheel, I
Yeah,
think the wheel asks for some faith from us too.
yeah,
Because when that wheel gets turning, we can't control it necessarily. We can, not necessarily, we can't control it.
yeah.
So I often feel with the wheel, like you kind of have to hang on and see where it
Well,
takes you, right?
and the interesting thing is with my wheel, when I first looked at it, I'm like, oh, strength. It's a
Uh,
compass. There's balance.
yeah, yeah,
So, and I don't necessarily look at it that way, but for some reason, that's how, and like at the bottom, it's like I don't want to say the good and the bad, but the negative and the positive.
yeah.
And so I just found that interesting if I was feeling the Nine of Swords, what it was, or was I just pulling stuff out of thin air, which I'm good at doing too.
No, I think that fits really beautifully. And I think like see what you think, Paulo, and you kind of pull back and look at all three of your cards there because that's an interesting combination too, right? Like you
Yeah.
the offering you that really nice, bright, solid Ace of Pentacles and
Hmm.
which kind of looks like a wheel. Like if I pull it up in my mind's eye, it looks like a pretty solid, bright wheel.
Yeah. And my thought was sun.
Yeah.
Like the sun is going to shine. And what me is to take my time with the hangman.
Yes.
Take
Yeah.
my time. There's no rush.
Love it. And that feels
So,
good, right? Because then I think like that hangman, no rush, take your time and just, it's okay to just observe like that things may be turning fast, but the hangman's
mhm.
like, that's okay. I'm gonna stay at the center here and just,
And something I've always thought of with it, maybe I've said it out loud or not, with my hangman, I've always seen his legs as an upside down four.
oh yeah, for sure.
So, whatever that may mean for others, but it's just sort of that thing of, yeah.
Love it.
So,
Does that
guess
make
that's not a
sense to
bad
you?
year.
No, that feels right. Thanks, Paula. That feels
You're
really good.
welcome.
Thanks for sharing that. Right.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else want to share theirs with the group, or if you have a card that's puzzling you that you want to? Oh yeah, Carolyn.
Hello. I'm using the Unifying Consciousness Tarot, and
Oh, I've heard of
cards are fascinating.
it.
I was very focused on the Shining Tribes, so
Yeah.
I'm working with her. So I am moving toward the Lovers. That's my just
Yes.
coming December birthday.
Lovely.
And this first card of what the year offers me is another six.
Oh,
Six of
very nice.
Swords. And
Nice.
I just kind of looked, I'm trying to like Six of Swords. I'm like, oh, going on a journey. I'm thinking that,
Yeah.
and I'm like, ah, I'm going to Canada. Thank goodness.
Yay!
But this journey is this, it's a horse crow creature. And there's, just I peeked at the book and the idea of moving from, intensity and
Yes.
difficulty
Yeah.
and using that to move forward. So And this creature, the crow horse, so that it can move, that I can move, we can move. And look, thinking about the lovers and the unifying consciousness, I was really thinking about how it is love that's not just limited to like directed at one individual, but like groups of people and a culture of care instead of violence.
Oh,
And
I
then
love
just my next card is the what it asks
wow.
of me. This is the Spirit of
Yes.
Pentacles, another
Yeah.
horse,
Look at that. Yeah.
taking this energy and making it into a form that will stay and stick. So the deck added just a lot of depth of like what these could mean. So
I love that. I love it.
absorbing it.
Yeah, no, thanks for and thanks for playing with my deck and that. Thanks for sharing that. And thanks for coming, by the way, up here to visit us.
Oh my gosh, I'm grateful that you'll take us.
Can't wait. Can't wait. All right. So who I think Dodie has your hand up there, Miss Dodie?
Yes.
Yeah.
So for me, it's the last card. It kind of contradicts. I have the Hangman,
Okay.
and the last question says, "What does my year card want me to know how to navigate the year ahead?" And I got eight of rods.
Okay.
And I see that card meaning to embrace flow, but
Mhm.
that kind of contradicts the hangman. So I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, sorry, Dodie, you're a hangman too this year, eh?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So what I feel like with that eight of wands or eight of rods, right? Like
Yeah.
that often that card says to me, like there's something there about getting out of your own way and
Oh.
letting things like things are already in motion. There's already momentum. There's already right. So as a hangman, you just watch those fly. Don't try
That
to knock them off
makes
course. Does that make sense?
it does.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Awesome.
yes. Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, I'm sure I've said this to you before, but we'll have to chat about our hangman year and see, check in with each other there.
Yes.
See how it's going. Right. Thank you. All right. So any other comments or questions before we move forward? Or is that sort of sitting okay with everybody there? Yeah. So please leave those three cards in front of you. We're going to revisit them after the next part of our time together here. Okay. All right. Okay, so now let's add another layer to the fun and games and the story that we're weaving here. So moving into our discussion of the universal year, right? So universal, as I said before, it's very simple. It's just adding the digits of the current year across, and it gives you a number. It corresponds with major arcana card, and we've already talked about it, but it's a wheel of fortune. So 2026 for all of us here on our beloved planet is the wheel. So let's muse on the wheel a little bit before we pull some more cards, right? So generally speaking, when we think about the energy of the wheel, change. And this has come up a lot already in our discussion tonight. That to me is the primary meaning. But I have a lot of time for the Wheel of Fortune because I think it brings luck and opportunity. And there's a little bit of the idea of fate and karma in there. What goes around comes around. Sometimes you have to surrender to that wheel and just hang on and ride it out. But hopefully we can maintain our center in the midst of all of that movement. And the wheel to me also speaks to mysteries and answers that aren't quite ready to be revealed. The wheel gives us a glimpse, like a tantalizing glimpse of information and patterns and stories and solutions and mysteries, but doesn't show us everything. And we don't know why, but there's probably a good reason for that, for those things they're not ready to be revealed. The Wheel of Fortune also advises us to watch for limited time opportunities. We have to decide do or do not in a swift manner. There's no time for ruminating or hemming and hawing, right? And if we say yes, great. If we say no, it may come around again, but we don't know when, right? So also the wheel has a feeling of cycles and seasons coming into play, that we're in a particular cycle and everything is changed, right? We're here now, but we won't be there later, right? Cycles of life and changes, ups and downs, surprises, unexpected changes and events, and oftentimes very busy things happening quickly, right? That energy. So that's a big shift from a hermit year, the hermit year that comes before it. I think it's one of the biggest shifts in the cards from the hermit to the wheel. Wow, right? Going from all this nice alone time to be introspective and everything, and then all of a sudden, boom, we're going to get things moving, right? And so I put up, I'm not going to go into elaborate detail here, but just looking at the wheel itself, in the very traditional version that I have here on the screen, it's covered in mysterious symbols. And I've broken them down here in the way that I see them. But I've often feel like the purpose of this card is just to mystify us with all of these symbols on here. Okay? We can learn them and we can understand them to some extent. Like if we do the research and we look it up, like we know the Sphinx there at the top. She's the keeper of the secrets and the gatekeeper that we have to answer her riddle or we can't go forward. We've got Anubis there who looks scary, but is really our friend, a guide to the next world. We've got the snake, which anyone who knows me, I cannot see it as a bad thing. To me, it's such a positive symbol, the snake, but often we see it as danger or temptation or bad luck. So, but the main thing to me is that this card is just so, of all the cards in the deck, so packed full of mysterious symbols. It can be a bit overwhelming and exciting to us, but it takes time to understand what is actually going on there. And part of the fun is living in the mystery, I think, and not trying too hard to break everything down, right? And again, keep going further, right? If we go down further, more and more symbols. We have alchemical symbols. We've got those figures in the corner that can mean anything from the fixed zodiac signs to the seasons, to the four evangelists. We've got the Hebrew letters, the unknowable name of God there as well. We've got Torah all around the wheel as well. And then the wheel itself, the symbol of that, cycles, fate, uncertainty, luck, and movement. And hopefully at some point we can retain our center and stay at the center of the wheel, remaining constant and connecting with our true center with all this energy that's going on around us. And interesting comparison, of course, to the world card, right? So they're very similar, these two cards, for a reason, of course, right? As I mentioned before, I think the Wheel of Fortune gives us glimpses into the patterns that are around us and gives us glimpses into who we are, what we're meant to do in this life, all that information that we crave with our soul. But we don't, until we get to the world, we don't know it all. We don't understand it all or see it all, right? So in the Wheel of Fortune, those figures in the corners are kind of funny and cartoonish, right? Like they're sitting there reading books, sitting on a cloud, reading books, looking a little bit unformed, right? And a bit fun. But then the transformation when we get to the world card, right? And we still have that idea of the wheel or the circle in the middle of the card. So the wheel lets us know we're on the right track and we're moving, but we're not there yet. We're not at the end there yet. Okay. All right. Last thing, I swear, about the wheel here. So looking at a different version, the Visconti Sforza Tarot, we've got the goddess Fortuna at the center of the wheel, and then the figures around the wheel showing different stages of life or fortune, showing the ups and downs. Even the king is subject to the ups and downs of life, right? Sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down. What rises can also fall, and vice versa, right? Okay. So the energy of the wheel pervades the whole planet and sets the tone for 2026, bringing all those things we talked about, change, first and foremost, uncertainty, but also opportunity and luck. So what do you think a Wheel of Fortune year might look like, right? And what do you hope for in a Wheel of Fortune year? Or what have we seen already? I don't even want to go there. Yeah, I'm not going there. But what do you hope for in a Wheel of Fortune year? Yeah, Diane.
I mean, you hope that things are going to be better than they are,
You
right?
sure
You
do.
hope the wheel is going to move you up.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope so too. And all of us, right? Like that's we all we all need to be on the upswing for sure. Yeah, and it's time, right? Definitely. So some things to think about. Yeah, and I see in the comments, changing, learning, maturing, moving forward. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, I totally agree with that. So with a Wheel of Fortune year, I hope we're rolling into a new cycle, you know. The wheel can help us to see patterns that need to end and making good use of lessons that have been learned the hard way. We can expect a lot of ups and downs. Yeah. Yeah, and Shelley in the comments that we weather the year and move into justice. Oh, yes. Yeah. And Peter, I hope to enjoy the highs, expect the lows, and find the stillness at the center. Lovely, lovely. Often we've talked about this already tonight, but a wheel year often means knowing when to surrender control and knowing what you can control. And that's a little bit of what I'm going to go into in my presentation in Kingston too. This idea of fate and free will and what we can and can't control and what we do with that to our best advantage, right? We got to stay flexible, got to go with the flow, trust in your luck. And perhaps one of the most important things is to remember that nothing is permanent, right? Nothing is permanent, whether that's wonderful or uncomfortable, you know, find joy in every moment and find comfort in everything is change, right? Mhm. Okay. So let's explore how our cards may play together. Do they get along or do they butt heads? Do they support each other? Do they challenge each other? So have a look at your card and the wheel. Mhm. And let's start to think about how these energies impact each other. Mhm. So I'm going to take you through a couple of steps or a few steps of how we can do that. So first of all, let's consider our initial intuitive reaction to those two cards. So for example, mine was nervous laughter. Oh no, hangman in the wheel. Whoa, what is that? How's that going to feel? That was my initial reaction. But also I feel a little bit kind of, I got a sense of humor about it. What a combination, right? And when I look at these two cards together, I noticed with this particular deck here too, the color scheme caught my eye. I'm like, see that Anubis cradling the wheel there? Is that really the hangman in disguise on that card? Or is the snake upside down on the side of the wheel? Is that really the hangman finding their spot on the wheel? Right? Getting comfortable there, finding their position. So give yourself a moment to look at your two cards together and what's your reaction to them. And if you notice any repeating symbols, any colors that catch your eye, anything like that, you know, like when you see them next to each other there. Yeah, see if there anything surprises you. Oh yeah, and Paula, you've got just the wheel to play with, right? Yeah. Yeah, you're all wheel. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah. So think about how two, if you're two personalities that are both wheel, right? Or two characters in a story that are both wheel, would they get along? Would they egg each other on? Would they get in each other's way? How do you think they might play with each other? Imagine what they could accomplish together. Those two wheels. Yeah. Got extra power behind you.
Couldn't that also be, you have to really to ideally move forward, two wheels are better than one.
I was thinking the same thing, Paula. Like imagine like on a bicycle, you're not gonna get, well, I shouldn't say that. It'd be
Yeah,
more difficult with just one wheel, right?
yeah. But
But
like even with a chariot, thinking with that same tone, that definitely you're going to get further with with both.
love it. Love it.
And if they're on the same, if they're balanced, because
Yeah,
if your wheels aren't balanced, it can be an interesting go.
exactly. Yeah, you've got to get them balanced and working together, right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeesh.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's look at another way to compare them, right? So now you've sort of just had your initial look at them, right? And think, what does my gut tell me, or what do I see at a first pass? So then start to think about the kind of key concepts of those cards, personal to you. Like, for example, like for me, the hangman, what do I think of with the hangman? What do I think of the wheel? If I had to, I put quite a few here, but even just a couple of words or key themes that you associate with the cards, with each one, and see how they fit with each other. Because essentially, we're looking to see if they might amplify each other, if they might, what's the right way to say it? Contradict each other, or maybe even just temper each other, and see if it looks like you can get an idea of the kind of relationship they might have, because mine are very different, the hangman and the wheel. Like they couldn't be quite further away from each other in some ways. So I've got this balance, I hope not push and pull, but this balance between pause and surrender and observation to movement. And I want to go move forward, I want things to move quickly. So they need to understand each other. My cards, right? Yours might fit really naturally together and amplify each other, right? And we're going to pull some more cards to look at that, but just take a moment to consider, how do they, if I have to pick a couple of keywords for each of my cards, what would they be? And then can I see any points that they might merge, right? Because when I took mine further, I think about the hangman meaning to me that idea of surrender and observing and not pushing, right? I see that in the wheel too. If I look more deeply, you got to surrender to that energy of the wheel because it's moving. If you're observant, you'll notice patterns and clues, not just the fast spin of the wheel. Okay? And the wheel going with the flow, not pushing because you can't, right? You got to just go with it. Yeah, and Shelley, I have strength, and with the wheel, I feel like I can hang on and survive the ups and downs. Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. Mhm. Okay, and Peter, the chariot and the wheel for me might mean that forward movement isn't always linear. It could be 2 steps forward, 1 step sideways, 1 step back, 2 step forward. Yes, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I think the chariot and the wheel would get along just fine, but as you say, you have to remember who's directing things, where you're heading. Yeah. As a chariot, you're in control of the direction, hopefully, and can choose the destination, but the wheel might throw you some curves along the way. So let's see if we go a little further. And I think we've already kind of gone there. Excuse me, but think about the benefits and the challenges of this combination. All right. So for me, a potential frustration is I am still and the world is turning, right? However, I might be able to make sense of all of the movement and the speed of events around me because I'm still, right? And the vantage point and the perspective that I have, right? And Carolyn, wheel and lovers, love is dynamic, not static. It breaks but renews again and again. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And Tracy, the devil's temptation is a willing prison, but chains break when the wheel turns. Oh, the skies turn from black to blue. Gorgeous. Boy, we got a room full of poets here. How lovely. Okay. All right. And then here we go. See if you can relate it to your life, which I can see that you're doing already, right? But that's all great. We have these beautiful ideas and these themes of concepts coming out for our cards. But think about how it might relate to your 2026, what you're planning, what you're hoping for, things that you're anticipating, and see how that fits in with those cards. So for example, when I saw that hangman, one thing that is on my mind is next creative project, next book or deck. But as much as I'd like to be the wheel and do that, the hangman is like, Lori, think about it, reflect. Release your expectations. You can't control it. Release your expectations. Enjoy this time of pause. So that makes a lot of sense to me to enjoy that. And trying to control everything and control timing, no, just don't do it. Just relax and be. So see how, if you can see a way that, oh yeah, and also I thought too, like, oh, I hope I can watch world events without totally being thrown for a loop with that hangman energy, but I'm having trouble with that so far. Yeah. But hopefully that ease will come in. Yeah. Hi, Clemis.
Um, I think my cards support one another
Okay.
because I have strength, but strength is also part of my constellation, so it's a double card for me.
Yeah.
And I'm using the light seers,
Yeah.
and it looks like if you look at the cards, it looks like it's the same woman that it's.
Oh, yeah.
And what I like is that, she's handling the energy, and there is not one wheel, there are several
Yeah.
wheels, and sort of like what we're saying, that what can you control? So you can only ride,
Yeah.
wheel. You can, sort of um there are certain things, so you can only do so much, and to stick to what you can do and you can control.
Yeah. Clovis, that's amazing. That really does look like the same figure dancing on top of the wheel there, right? Yeah. And there you are, right? I love it. Thanks, Clovis. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. All right. So let's move forward here. So does that sit okay with everybody so far? You ready to pull some more cards? Great. So we've got the first three cards from your first little spread. So you still have those out, but we're going to use the rest of the deck again to have a chat with the wheel this time. Right? So we're asking the same questions. What does the wheel offer me? What does the wheel ask of me? And what does the wheel want me to know about myself as I navigate the year ahead? So in light of your year card, now you're asking, okay, wheel, how are you going to help me out? What are you going to ask of me or require of me? And then what can the wheel show you about yourself that's going to be powerful as you navigate the year ahead? So I had my first spread just laid out those three cards, and then do these three cards below it, because then we're going to compare it afterwards, of course. And same thing, when you lay those 3 cards out, have a look at them without worrying about the spread positions. Just see what first your intuition tells you, and then go into those positions. And then we'll look at them together once we've had a chance to break them down. Wow. Empress, World High Priestess. Wow. The wheel is only asking the world of you, Shelley, huh? Ah. All right, so I'm going to show you my example, but I'm dying to see what everybody's getting here because there's some amazing cards coming up. So let me see, what did I get here? Okay, so interesting for me too. So I got, what does the wheel offer me? Strength. Great, excellent. So patience and compassion and fortitude, and I think maybe a little bit of agency and control there. Okay. What does the wheel ask of me? 2 of Swords. So there's my hangman energy coming out there, right? Just sit down and think about a few things, right? So, in a much nicer way, be okay with a pause. Use it to think and to go within. Okay? And then what does the wheel want me to know about myself? Yeah, I got the world there too. So I thought, yay, by the end of the year, maybe I'll have everything figured out. Maybe the wheel will have taken me to that final destination of the world where everything becomes clear and I'll have figured out a few things. So I really do. I hope that is true. So, but yeah, but being okay with that pause, having patience, the wheel asks of me. Things are going to be moving fast, but you got to be still. And there will be benefit to it, right? By the end of the year. Okay. So before we compare, next we're going to compare our 2 spreads, right? But I'm looking, there's such great comments in the chat. Does anybody want to, wow, 9 of Cups, High Priestess in the World, a lot of world cards coming up here. Temperance World, Queen of Pentacles, wow. Okay. So does anyone want to talk about theirs, or if they're puzzled by one, get the comments from the group here before we bring it all together? Yeah, lots of big, it feels like bigger cards are coming out now for the wheel than the nice manageable ones that we had in the previous spread. Yeah. Ah. Oh, that's an interesting one. 5 of Wands, 10 of Swords, 9 of Swords. Wow. Okay. Yeah, 3 majors in the first. Oh, you had 3 majors in the first one. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, thank you, Mary. Thank you. I was lost in the world of comment of the great chat going on here. But yeah, hi, Mary. You want to share your cards with us?
Hi.
Hi.
This is very lovely to do. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So under the Wheel of Fortune, and even with my first cards, I got tens. So,
Okay.
but under the Wheel of Fortune, because my card for the year is Temperance, and that makes perfect sense right now in my life.
Beautiful.
But I got the 9 of Cups,
Okay.
the High Priestess,
Ooh.
and the World card
Wow.
under the Wheel of Fortune.
Wow.
So, and with my other cards was the 10 of Cups, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Wheel of Fortune.
Okay.
And there are a lot of shifting that I'm doing and healing and moving forward and stuff. So to me, it sounds like I will have a compromise with myself, or in my business decisions, I'll have the clarity. And I'm a Cancerian empath. So it's nice to know I'm going to have some happiness instead of absorb some drama.
Oh, that's beautiful. Mary, so Mary, stay with me because I'm gonna go ahead one screen here because
Yes.
you brought up your the fun of comparing your two spreads, right? So Mary, the wheel showed up in your first spread.
Yes.
Interesting, right? So that it feels like the universal year card energy is really strong for you,
Mhm.
right? But oh, interesting.
It so that would have been, what does the wheel want me to know about myself? So I imagine all these changes are still going and going, and grab the wheel when you need it.
Wow.
I don't know, it's just like it's a spread that's a little bit trying to figure it out. Is it like a too good to be true? Is it like I live in two provinces? Like
Oh,
every 2 months I'm in Nova Scotia and then I go back to Kingston, Ontario. So maybe the balance with the 10 of cups in this deck with the rainbow is there will be some balance in relocation somewhere maybe,
okay.
and I'm emotionally okay with it.
And I think, but I'm looking at that rainbow truly, like it feels like bridging those two places even too, Mary, or like finding the joy in
In balancing both.
balancing both, right? Yeah.
Thank you, because that was in my head as well with that.
Beautiful.
And also, I've opened up to help young children experiencing growing up dealing with spirits and intuitiveness and a better understanding. And so I think with the temperance and the high priestess, that balance was something, my calling, something that maybe I needed to help them understand what they're going through because I live my life that way. And the world card, I'm not quite sure. World card's like coming full circle, coming completion.
Yeah.
Like
And
that,
Mary, where did the wheel show, or is the world, where did that show up for you? Is the very final card or
the world card was the final card
yeah.
under the Wheel of Fortune. So
Okay.
first I had the 9 of Cups emotionally, and then, oh, sorry, then the High Priestess,
Yeah.
and then the world card at the end.
Uh,
I'm a little confused there.
Well, so, and I love that because I got the world too in the same position
Okay.
there, Mary, right? Because so, and I took it as being really, like, I found it affirming and was happy to see it because just as you said, like things coming full circle. So maybe now we can't imagine where it's going to go or what's going to happen, or we're getting glimpses of it, but it feels like something really coming together by the end of the year. Like the wheel offers you some kind of understanding, completion so that you can move forward,
Okay.
bringing stuff together. And I like that with that idea, like you said, of balance and bringing things together. Like the world feels to me like being in the right place in the world, or finding that balance between the different places even that you're talking about
Yeah,
too.
exactly. Between both provinces, and also my niche, like what I feel that I'm being pulled to this year. And hopefully it's the right one and it works out, but all I can do is try. So I feel that's my message emotionally. I can try, right?
Yeah, and have some fun along the way too, it
Yeah.
looks like too, right?
Yeah.
Joy. Oh.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. I
Thanks, Mary.
appreciate it.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Mary. So just as Mary did there for us, like have a look at your 6 cards together there. And don't worry too much about the spread positions at this point, even. What do you notice? Right? Because I noticed, like I looked at mine and the Queen of Wands above strength there. Oh, look at all those lions there. I like to see them. What does that mean to me, right? Then I've got a lot of people in seated positions, right? Or like looking at those two in the middle, the two in the middle are in the same seated position, right? Arms crossed in some way, facing forward, same, like they're sitting in the same way, right? Except that a little bit different with the swords and the blindfold and the looking straight out. But that's so interesting, right? Like I've got those feel more hangman to me in the middle there. I've got these seated figures. I'm just fine where I am. I'm where I need to be, right? And then in the last 2 cards, then I do see a little like a shift there. The 4 of Swords feels safe and protected and restful, and the world also feels protected and safe to me, but free, okay? Free. So have a look at your cards, as I say, without worrying about the spread positions. And what do you notice, right? And I'm just noticing now, I think the world and the Queen of Wands are looking at each other there. They're looking at, hi, you're going to be here by the end of the year. And, so anyway, I could going down a lot of rabbit holes here, but those feel like they maybe are looking at each other. And I love that feeling of those two in the middle there, being the stability. The hangman's offering me stability rather than feeling like my feet aren't firm on the ground. Yeah. So and I do have another lion in that world card too. So a lot of lion feline energy showing up in my cards too. So lots of passion and power bubbling beneath the calm exterior of the hanged one. So have a look at yours, see what you see. Play with it. Don't overanalyze it. What makes you laugh or what makes you smile when you look at them together, or what do you notice? Oh, hi, Diane. What do you see?
Well, I see contrast between the two rows.
Okay.
So I've got Fool, Magician, Chariot,
Yes.
and
Wow.
then King of Swords, Four of Swords, Five of Pentacles.
Okay.
So between the King of Swords and the Fool, I see age versus youth because my King of Swords happens to look quite old.
Okay.
And then the Magician versus the Four of Swords, there's, action, take
Yeah.
action, and stasis, absolute stillness.
Yeah.
And then the Chariot, of course, is let's go.
Yeah.
And the Five of Pentacles is saying, watch out, things,
I love it. I love it. So how does that feel, Diane? Like, does that feel like because does that feel like a balance to you? I don't feel like they're necessarily fighting each other there, but it's like,
No,
yeah.
no. I mean, and actually, the first set made a lot of sense to me immediately.
Okay.
But thinking about the second one, I think I can figure it out.
It's a little bit trickier, huh? The
It
first
is a
one
little
is just
bit
like
trickier. I
yelling
always
at
love
you.
seeing the Four Swords. I mean, I love a sleep. I love a rest. I'm an introvert.
Oh, me too. So I know I have a lot of time for that Four of Swords too. It feels okay to, but it's such an interesting combination with the Magician, right? Because that feels to me like knowing when you need to rest and be the introvert, and when you need to pick up a wand or a sword and take
Yeah,
action, right? But
yeah,
knowing when, yeah.
yeah.
And
Honoring your need for rest and renewal.
beautiful. And you're way ahead of me, Diane, because I was thinking like you might not necessarily want to be in one or the other of those all the time, right?
Right.
It's nice to have the balance between them.
Yeah,
And that feels kind of wheely too, doesn't it? Like sometimes you're still, sometimes you're taking action, right? So
exactly.
flowing with
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I love it. Right. Okay. All right. So I invite you to explore those cards further, right? Take a picture of them or jot them down or so you can explore later. Because I feel like we got some really amazing insights there, and it's just so much fun to think how much more there is in there if you take some time to play with these figures, right? And some other things. Oh, I've talked enough about mine, but this was my idea about where I'm at. But I feel good about the hangman and the wheel. They can work with each other and balance each other, right? So um the hangman can be cool, not agitated. I can be the calm center of the wheel and observe things that are spinning around me. Okay? But some other ideas of ways that you can work with the energy of your year card and with the wheel. I love the idea of doing meditation or visualization with these cards. How much fun would it be if you could jump into those cards? You could combine them together and jump in, right? Or jump into a card and both of your figures from your card. I'd love to have a conversation with the hangman and the sphinx. I think we could be there for like 1,000 years probably and still have things to talk about. But that wonderful idea of being able to go into the card and be part of that landscape and talk to whoever you want to in there. also you could dedicate an altar to your cards, right? To the energy of the wheel and your card, and add items that relate to their energy, and maybe focus on the qualities you want to manifest, the support that you desire, really honoring that energy and making it a focal point in your practice for the year ahead. And of course, talismans are my thing, as you know, so you could create a talisman to capture the energy of your year card or the wheel or both, right? And infuse it with your intentions for 2026 and incorporate the idea that the energy of your year card and the wheel are going to support you and keep you on track and draw opportunities to you. So there's a lot of ways that you can stay connected with your year card, because that year card's with you for the year ahead, not just the beginning of the year. That energy's there to support you. So why not stay connected with it and check in with it throughout the year and see what wisdom it has to offer you. Okay. So that brings the formal part of things to a close. So any questions or comments before I release you over to Marilyn and into the night? Does that sit okay with everybody, or any questions spinning before we let you go? Yeah.
I just wanted to say quickly, thank you. It kind of the vibe that I decided a week ago, I'm like, that's it. No matter what, I'm just going to be happy.
Oh,
And just making that intention. And what I got from the cards was, yes, it's just kind of reaffirming that kind of feeling I had. So, because part of it is learning to go with that feeling. So, thank you.
no, thank you. And thanks
And
for
see you in November.
Yay! I know it feels real. It's getting real, right?
It is. It is.
I love it. Well, good. And I think on that note too, I offer you my thanks, everyone. It's so great to connect with everyone. I'm so excited. I was already excited. Now I'm beside myself with excitement for the conference, right? So May 2026, bring you clarity, change, wisdom, and luck. And you can find me always at innergoddesstarot.com. And I invite you to check out my new book, Talismans and Tarot, to pre-order my Tarot for Introverts and Empaths book. It's available now, but it's coming out, I think, November 9th is the date. So, Wheel of Fortune, make it so in swift timing, right? And of course, Unifying Consciousness Tarot, the mass market version just came out in, I guess it was last June. So I'd love to hear what you think about them. And if they pique your interest, please pick up a copy. So I think, Marilyn, I will stop sharing my screen there. There we go.
And there's everybody. Thank you. That was amazing. I've got these cards out. They're going to sit out for a couple of days, and my trusty Five of Pentacles showed up. I'm so sick of that
Great.
card. But obviously it just hangs around with me. So thank you, Lori, and thank you to everybody for all the comments and the input. And this was a really full and rich class. And thank you, Lori, for taking the time to put such a thoughtful presentation together for us.
It's my pleasure.
I'm excited for November. I mean, I already am, but it just piques it a little more. So, a reminder that March 4th, right, Carolyn? Is Carolyn still here?
Yes, I'm here,
March 4th.
Wednesday, March 4th.
Yes, is our next presentation with Carolyn, and we're going to work with the Hermit and the Wheel for that. And the event, did I put the event up? No, I put it out in the newsletter, but the event will be up in a day or so. So check out your newsletter, and if you didn't get a newsletter or two in the last couple of days, go look in your junk mail because there's lots of information in there. So we will see you back here on March 4th for another awesome presentation. Thank you, everyone, and thanks again, Lori. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Lori.
Oh, it's so good to see you. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.